Hey guys, so I drew myself into 3 different anime screenshots and I became like this. And today's video was heavily inspired by Love to Draw manga, where she did exactly the same thing. With her kawaii voice, not that kawaii, this kawaii.
Because I would get to draw myself in baby form.
I was actually inspired to do the same exact challenge and see if I could actually draw anime characters. This video is also made just for fun, and the techniques I use may be borderline illegal, so you have been warned. Hey guys, my name is RJ and I'm a self-taught artist and animator behind Studio De Laron, a channel dedicated to sharing with you everything I'm learning about drawing and animation. So let's get started with the first anime. Okay, so this first anime screenshot was from Tokyo Revengers, and I honestly just started watching this anime, and this particular scene is from episode 2. The premise of the show was very simple at first. The protagonist, Takemichi Hanagaki, grew up to be a loser adult despite having a very glorious middle school life. One day, as he was sulking into his sorrow because of the news of the death of his ex-girlfriend during middle school, he was pushed away into a train track and was hit by the train, only to wake up 12 years in the past. So basically, he time traveled, but instead of time traveling with his whole body, he only time traveled with his mind. So he was living in his younger body when he was still in middle school with his future mind. He knows everything that happened in the future and the tragedy that is probably the whole plot of the show. Again, I'm only on the second episode and this anime is already proving to be a very interesting one. Some scenes from Takemichi's past shows him with this group of friends who in this case are the 4 guys you see here. This particular scene was just them walking in a school hallway, leaving Takemichi behind. They were hyping Takuya up because he is about to be brought into a fight. The way I started with my drawing was to trace some of the outlines of the other characters in the scene. Again, this technique is not encouraged if you are learning to be an artist or a beginner. But this video, as I said, is not all about learning proper techniques in drawing, but simply a fun way to draw. I traced the outline of the characters from the back and basically just copied most of the features I see from the other characters, such as the uniform and how their hands are tucked in. I recently had a haircut with some sick ass fade from my brother, and I used my current hairstyle to distinguish myself as another character. When I was in high school, I used to have a long emo hair, but I honestly don't think that would fit into this scene, as the characters here are depicted as troublemakers and affiliated with gangs. Who I was in high school was the complete opposite of these characters, but I thought it would be interesting to put myself into the scene just to see how it would look like if I had a different past. During the cleanup process, I used a brush with a constant line thickness of 2 pixels to match the line art of the characters in the scene. I also used a lighter gray for the color of the line art and tried to do some darker shades at where the pants are. Most anime use a line thickness that is constant throughout because this saves them a lot of time during this process. During the coloring process, I had to create a mask layer, a base color layer, and a shadow layer, and just by following how the style of these characters are drawn and colored, I was able to match the scene as best as I could. Lastly, I had to create an overlay layer to hide the imperfections of the color since the original image was just a screenshot. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this show, but please no spoilers. The second anime screenshot was from one of my favorite shonen series of all time, Black Clover. If you don't know what Black Clover is, it's not too late to watch and get yourself caught up because this anime has one of the best storylines, fight scenes, and comedy scenes. This particular screenshot is from episode 15, and this just shows Asta, who is the main character and his love interest of the series, Noelle. This shot was when the Golden Dawn was interrogating Asta and Noel because their other member was missing. But they were so scared to tell them the truth that Locke, who was the third member of their team, went off and just left them. The Black Bulls, which is the guild of Asta and Noel, are portrayed to be the troublemakers and the black sheep of the whole series, while the Golden Dawn are the star of the show. Again, this is why I find this anime very dynamic and funny. I pretended to be the third member of their team in this screenshot and copied the frame and the way their characters are frozen in terror. I used another tracing method to just really capture the style of the characters, and obviously I didn't want to draw the same style of the characters from the previous screenshot, and I have to match the style for the show. It really helped me that this screenshot is just a bust of the characters, and since it was a very simple copy and trace, I was able to put my character modeled into this scene. With the same hairstyle as I had before, I somehow realized that I may be looking like manga from the show, but I have a more simple and stylized look, so there weren't really any necessary accessories I needed to add to my character. I didn't draw the Black Bulls logo in my coat in my line art process because I was too lazy and planned to just simply copy it when I colored it. During the line art, I used a mixture of constant line thickness and pen pressure thickness to match the style of how these characters were cleaned up. I often use the erase as well to erase a bit of the tip to make some of the lines sharper, like the nose. I literally just copied the nose from these two characters just to show consistency in the scene. I then created my mask, base color, and shadow color with different layers on top of it. I also used a mixture of soft and hard brushes to match the coloring of the scene. I also used the existing palette of the shot to make sure that my colors are still congruent with the look of the shot. I then created a copy of the Black Bulls logo because I was too lazy to draw and paint it from scratch. Again, this is only for fun, so hopefully you forgive all the shortcuts I have used to make this drawing anime character scene. Comment down below who's your favorite character in Black Clover, or if you have watched the show, and let me know what you think about it. The last anime screenshot I drew myself in was from Jujutsu Kaisen, which is by far my current, most anticipated, and favorite anime and manga right now. Yes, I'm caught up with the story in the manga, and I'm telling you, shit gets real into the story. This shot that you see where they seem to be all smiling with bright, clear skies may be one of the last few scenes where we will see them like this. But enough of the borderline spoilers. This screenshot was from the Kyoto Exchange School event, more specifically in episode 14, where they are preparing for the event. This screenshot shows everyone except Yuji, whose head you see as the pink hair right here. I'm basically putting myself as one of the students because why not? This time, instead of straight up copying or tracing the characters, I actually shot a video of myself acting and used that as my reference. I then traced my own reference pose while making sure that I matched the whole scene in the screenshot. The profile of the face must match with the style of the characters, so I had to deviate from the proper anatomy of my own reference. I merely use it as a guide for the pose. I also noticed how detailed my reference is with all the folds in my low-budget Jujutsu Kaisen uniform, so I simplified it with fewer folds. The line art was a simple constant line thickness hard brush set at 2 pixels where the pen pressure sensitivity for size is not changing. I used a color the same as the other characters and used them as my guide for the color scheme. I used 3 layers for the color, which is the base, the shadow, and the highlight, which is very evident from the other characters as well. At this point, I really don't know if the bright purple is supposed to be the highlight, while the mid-tone is the actual color of the shirt. Creating the shadows and highlights also took a little bit of time because I was figuring out the correct way of shadowing this pose that I created. Unfortunately, the reference I had didn't have a good lighting, so I went by with what I perceived to be correct. I am aware that my skills of coloring can still improve from where I'm at, so I'll be taking notes on what I learned during this fun exercise. I often create a copy of the line art and create a Gaussian blurring effect set at 1 pixel to soften the drawing I have. I then created another layer with an overlay mode to create an atmosphere that will blend my character into the scene. I still haven't decided what my curse technique is, but I was pretty happy with how cool I look in a Jujutsu Kaisen uniform. Let me know in the comments below what kind of curse technique matches with my character. Anyway guys, thank you for watching, and a huge shout out to Love to Draw Manga and her cute kawaii voice for giving me the idea for this video. I had so much fun drawing myself into an anime, and honestly I was so happy and relieved that I can actually draw an anime character. I honestly thought that I am stuck with only drawing cute stupid characters that are very easy to draw. Subscribe for more drawing and animation videos like this. Check out my other videos about learning how to animate and draw, and see you on the next video. As always, keep on creating so you can make this world more beautiful with your imagination.